Hold on tight, ladies and gentlemen, because here comes another superhero showdown with another round of Grudge Match, the show that matches up comic characters with their likely counterparts from other universes. Today is quite possibly the matchup of all matchups, as the Golden Boys from both companies collide in one-on-one competition. It's DC's Man of Steel and the last son of Krypton, Superman, against Marvel's God of Thunder and the favorite son of Asgard, Thor. Now, both of these characters need little in the way of introduction as per their immense popularity. Superman, created in 1938, is quite possibly the most famous and popular superhero of all time, and certainly one of the main superheroes who created the comic craze and made comics and superheroes what they are today. When he was originally created, his power level was significantly weaker than it is now. Originally, he couldn't even fly, and that's where the phrase leap tall buildings in a single bound came from. He would just jump over buildings, and his strength and invulnerability was good enough to stop bullets and stop a speeding locomotive, but since then, his power has greatly increased, and it increased exponentially all the way up until about the 80s, when the big DC crossover crisis on Infinite Earths happened, and at that point, the entire DC universe was retconned in one way or another, and since then, Superman has been scaled back from the immense amounts of power that he had pre-Crisis. So post-Crisis, Superman is not nearly as powerful as he used to be 30 years ago. However, that does not take away from the immense power that he actually still has. He is still, quite possibly, the most powerful mortal character in the entire DC universe. Vast levels of superhuman strength and invulnerability, incredible speed, and a wide array of other powers, including frost breath, heat vision, X-ray vision, enhanced senses. Just one of the most powerful beings around. But by that same token, so is Thor. Thor, created in 1962, is of course an adaptation of the Thor from Norse myth. Now, he also has gone up and down in terms of power over the years. Originally, when he was created in 1962, he was bonded to the human form of Donald Blake, and Donald Blake would change back and forth between his human form and Thor form by using his walking stick, and whenever he tapped it on the ground, he would turn into Thor. But in the years since then, his drawback of potentially turning back into his weaker human form has been removed, as well as his basic power level has also increased exponentially. He has become much stronger, faster, durable, gotten greater access to different magical abilities, and he's come to find out that he is not only Asgardian, but he's also half Elder God. His mother is one of the Elder Gods of the universe, and that knowledge and accepting that heritage of his has increased his powers even further. So now let's compare some of the powers of these two characters to see if we can determine who would come out on top if they were to ever fight one-on-one. Both of these characters primarily rely on their incredible superhuman strength levels when in combat. Even though Superman has been depowered since his pre-Crisis days when he used to be able to push planets around with ease, he is still incredibly, vastly physically powerful and can easily lift 1,000,000 tons with little effort. However, this is also true of Thor. He's been seen lifting things of immense size, and including the Midgard serpent, which was able to wrap itself completely around the Earth multiple times. He's been shown to move objects 100 million tons himself. So when it comes to strength, it's probably a wash between these two characters. They're both so physically powerful that it's completely incalculable what their complete top-tier range of power is. We know that both of them have an upper limit when it comes to strength, as they have both been overpowered by other characters before, including Doomsday, Hulk, or various others, but we don't know what their specific strength level tops out at. It's virtually incalculable. So where strength is concerned, it's a wash between these two. When speed is concerned, Superman would seem to have the clear advantage. He's often been seen moving at incredibly fast speeds, sometimes even challenging members like the Flash to a race. And while he's not nearly as fast as characters like Flash who are connected to the Speed Force, he is capable of moving at faster than light speeds in either running, reaction speed, or flight speed. And a lot of people think that the same can't be said of Thor, but that's not exactly the case. He can move at incredibly fast speeds. Back when he was originally created in the 60s, he would have to fly by throwing his hammer Mjolnir and holding on to the strap, and it would carry him with him. However, that's been retconned over the years, and now he doesn't need to throw the hammer and hold on to it in order to fly. He can fly just fine on his own, but the hammer does allow him to fly faster and with more fine control in his movements. And with the hammer, with Mjolnir's power, he can fly at faster than light speeds himself, as well as move at faster than light speeds in terms of just reaction speeds and running. Thor is capable of flying to the sun and back in a matter of minutes, which does put him at faster than light travel, and it's been said that he can throw his hammer Mjolnir at the speed of light and swing it at twice the speed of light. So he is capable of moving at faster than light speeds as well. However, he doesn't use that quite so often, maybe because there's not as many super fast speedsters in the Marvel universe as there is in the DC universe, so Superman is more used to upping his speed just to keep up with the high level of speedsters in his universe. So while their speeds are fairly comparable, the edge in speed can be given to Superman by a small margin. Superman can be said to be a bit faster than Thor. The invulnerability of these two characters are both virtually off the charts as well. They've both been seen taking incredible amounts of punishment and walking away from it completely unscathed, both capable of surviving destruction of entire planets and being at the center of massive explosions and being completely unharmed by them. And because of the invulnerability of these two characters, it could take the additional powers of both of these two characters out of the equation. For instance, Superman is completely immune to electricity in pretty much any intensity. No matter how powerful the electricity is, it's not going to affect Superman. So Thor's ability to call down lightning and create lightning strikes would be a useless ability. By the same token, Thor is completely immune to heat and cold. No matter how hot or cold it can get, he is completely immune to it. So that takes Superman's super breath and heat vision out of the equation as well. These extra powers would not be able to affect their opponent in any way. So they both have incredibly high levels of invulnerability, but they both can be affected by hits and strikes from superpowered opponents who are powerful enough to damage them, as we've seen with Superman being killed by Doomsday and Thor often losing to the Incredible Hulk. Also, one extra note on invulnerability, Superman does not have near as strong an invulnerability to magical attacks as he does to pure physical attacks. Now, Thor primarily uses physical attacks despite the fact that he is a magic-based character. His magic is used to increase his physical abilities to incredible levels. So, you can't say that his punches, strikes, or even his hits from Mjolnir would be magical and thereby able to do extra damage to Superman. But Thor does have access to other magical abilities such as his God Blast or various other magical energy manipulation techniques that are more magical fueled. So if he could see his way to figuring out to use those magical attacks against Superman, that might prove to be problematic for Superman. Another area that might prove problematic for Superman is where their fighting skills are concerned. Now, a lot of people don't think Superman has very good fighting skills. He's mostly just seen relying on his super strength and super speed and throwing haymakers and heavy punches, but he actually has been trained by both Wonder Woman and Batman, two incredibly skilled combatants in the DC universe. However, those fighting skills pale in comparison to the fighting skills that Thor's bringing to the table. Being a centuries-old god who engages in many wars and many battles throughout his time, Thor has mastered battle techniques in both armed and unarmed combat. So in the fighting skills area, Thor might take a little bit of an advantage as well. So having looked at the major and primary abilities of these two characters and compared them, it's time now to determine a winner. That winner's going to be Thor. The Odin son is going to walk away victorious in this grudge match, primarily because of his magic origins. because he may not always utilize his magic abilities, but he does have them and can break them out when he needs to, particularly ever since the Ragnarok storyline, when he learned various rune magics that significantly increased his ability to wield magic. Now, he still primarily falls back on his strength, invulnerability, and fighting skills, but he does have that access to high-level magical abilities that he can break out when he needs to. Superman does have the better speed, which would allow him to put up a very strong fight. However, Thor does have the better battle techniques as well, and fighting skills, and Superman's extra speed is really negligible. You can't really say he's massively faster than Thor, just faster enough that he could get in a few extra hits. However, Thor's invulnerability would be able to absorb those hits and take that damage without being taken down for the count. So Thor's magical origin and his superior fighting skills are going to prove to be the determining factor and send the God of Thunder as the winner of this grudge match. Message me down below and let me know what you think of the outcome of this fight and any suggestions for upcoming episodes, and we'll see everyone next time on the next edition of Grudge Match.